Welcome to the October the 15th, 2002 taping of It Happened in Grand Prairie, as we bring you the history of our city and some of the people that have been very important in making that history. We are very, very excited today. We are doing a history salute to the Grand Prairie Gopher Alumni Association, and 3 or 4 or even more very important Gophers are on the set today. And we're pleased, first of all, to recognize Mr. Gene Head. Mr. Gene Head, a former principal of South Grand Prairie High and one of our honorees. We're so glad to have you on the set today. Thank you, and Virginia, for getting you here. We're just so pleased to have you as our guest. And Mr. Danny Husband, welcome to the set again. And to the other end of the dais here, Mr. Kim Thorne, President of the Grand Prairie High School Alumni Association, and an excellent representative today. What's going on with the Alumni Association?
Ruthie, we are approaching homecoming this Friday, and so we have a lot of excitement. Friday evening is of course, Gopher homecoming football game.
Yes.
We have our annual meeting before the game.
Yes.
We'll start meeting at 5:30 and actually have a meeting visiting at 5:30, and we'll have a meeting from 6 to 7, at which time we are going to have the privilege of presenting this year's honorees.
Yes.
Nominated by the Alumni Association. Of course, Lonnie Hanna is our outstanding alumni, an incredibly wonderful story that I think you'll get into with Lonnie.
Yes.
And Gene Head, our outstanding educator,
Yes.
Who happened to be my accounting teacher in high school, and a man of whom I'm so proud and look up to so much. And then Danny Husband, our status Gopher. And of course, you're going to get into this with Danny, but he's a young man who took Arlington Martin High School from its inception, and as a basketball coach, won over 400 games. An incredible coach, and has had a fantastic career. So we're going to present plaques to each of our honorees
out on the Gopher Bowl floor, right?
And then at halftime, we get to have the ceremony in front of the crowd
Yes.
at halftime. So I'm really looking forward to that.
We're so grateful that you're here, and we're grateful for all the things that you do to help us raise funds for scholarships for Grand Prairie High School students.
Well, thank you, Ruthie. Of course, that's our board and our volunteers and all of our alumni that chip in and contribute. And may I say that we're in our 13th year as an association, and during that time, each year we've managed to raise sufficient funds to give scholarships. In the past several years, we've given a total of $6,000 in scholarships to graduating seniors at Grand Prairie High.
You just keep printing money. That's all we need you to do now, Mr. President.
We're trying to do that, but of course we appreciate all the help we get.
Thank you for being here too. And since this is our history tape number 470, we better get this show on the road, hadn't we? First of all, we're just so pleased to have Mr. Gene Head. And Mr. Gene Head, would you look out into your camera and tell us about the real Gene Head? Name your parents for me. Would you do that, sir?
Okay, my mother and daddy was Oda Head and Connor Head, and they're both, of course, dead.
Yes, yes. And did you have any brothers or sisters?
I have one sister, Frances, and she lives in El Paso.
Okay. Do you have any brothers?
One brother, and he's deceased.
Oh, I see. He's deceased. Well, you and Francis are holding things together for the Head family, and that is just really wonderful. But before we get into your immediate family, which is just really wonderful, where were you born?
Lone Oak, Texas.
Lone Oak, Texas.
Lone Oak.
Oh, that is wonderful. And I guess you started going to school in Lone Oak, Texas.
Yes, I graduated from high school in Lone Oak.
At Lone Oak High School.
Lone Oak High School.
That's wonderful. Did you have one favorite teacher or one favorite subject at Lone Oak that you would like to mention on this interview?
Well, my first grade teacher, Mrs. Scott.
Miss Scott.
Miss Scott.
She was real special.
And her husband was superintendent there.
Oh, that's great. Well, you got the royal treatment. Were you the teacher's pet? I bet you were, weren't you?
Well, she was
good
a
to
real
you.
fine teacher.
Oh, that is wonderful. Okay, and after you went on to further your education, where'd you go to school?
Spearman, Texas. I taught school in Spearman, Texas.
Spearman, Texas. Okay, that was your first teaching job.
Yes.
And after you got out of college, you just had to be a teacher. Who encouraged
Well,
you the most to be a teacher?
My mother.
Your mother.
Yes.
She was your mentor, your inspiration
Yes,
to
yes.
do all of that good stuff. Okay, and after you taught in Spearman and was around the world, whatever in the world brought you to Grand Prairie, Texas? Did you have a friend here or something?
I had an uncle here,
Okay.
and I came over to visit him, and I said, I believe I'll go in and see what they have here.
All right.
And I went in and saw Mr. Chambers.
Mr. H.H.
H.H.
Chambers.
Chambers.
Oh, wasn't he a fine
He
superintendent?
sure was.
Yes.
And he sent me over to the high school to see Mr. Bowes.
Mr. Bowes.
Mr. Bowes.
Mr. Lloyd
And
Bowes.
he gave me a tour of Grand Prairie High School, and at that time the Gopher Bowl was just built.
Oh, yes.
They had
yes.
just finished.
Yes. All right, so that meant the magic year when you came here, if the Gopher Bowl had been just built, that must have been 56, 57, was it?
55, 56.
55, 56, yes. And you got hired almost on the spot?
Yes, the principal sent me back to Mr.
Chambers?
Chambers,
Okay.
and I had to call over and get released from a contract that I already had.
You were still at the other school and had a contract?
Yes.
I
and,
bet your superintendent didn't want to let you go, did he?
They released me, and
But they did
they
release
hired me on the spot.
Hired you on the spot, and you came right on to work.
Yep.
And when you came here to go to work, where did you go first, at Grand Prairie?
Grand Prairie High School.
Grand Prairie High School. Okay. Was there anything special about your first teaching job in Grand Prairie and Grand Prairie High School? What was the favorite things that you taught at Grand Prairie High School?
Bookkeeping.
Bookkeeping.
And this is one of my favorite.
One of your favorite students.
Students, uh-huh.
Yes, yes.
And I taught shorthand.
And you taught shorthand too? Okay. Well, I have a member of my family that said that you taught her tennis, and that's Georgia
sure did.
Jackson Clemson. And she
And
said,
she was a good player.
oh, she said, you made them work so hard. She said, you made them run around the Gopher Bowl 3 or 4 times before they could even play tennis. I mean, that was hard work.
Well, she was a good tennis player.
Oh, that is great. Well, after tennis, and I believe you had something to do with the concessions. I remember seeing you at the concession stands at the Gopher game. Were you in charge of that?
I was in charge of concessions at the Gopher Bowl.
Okay. All right. After Grand Prairie High School, did you get promoted and go somewhere else?
I went to South Grand Prairie High School.
South Grand Prairie High School.
In fact, I was assistant principal of Jackson and South Grand Prairie High School.
Oh, they
both
had them together, didn't
Uh-huh.
they? Was all this out on Warrior Trail
Yes,
still?
uh-huh.
In the old Jackson building before it
Yes.
became a 9th grade center
That's
now?
right.
Ah,
And then I was promoted to principal when
principal
the new school opened.
in the new South Grand Prairie High Warriors. You were the first big daddy of that rascal. Isn't that wonderful?
I was there 18 years.
18 years. Oh, what an honor. Well, somebody told me that you worked on one of the yearbooks. Did you do that at Grand Prairie High School or at South?
At Grand Prairie High School.
At Grand Prairie High School. Well, Gene Hidd, you've done everything. You've been in typing and shorthand and tennis and bookkeeping and assistant principal and principal. And let me see if there's some other good stuff here that I need to ask you about.
I was a little bit younger in those days.
Yeah. Well, do you remember the date of your retirement? Now that's hard to go back to that because you've been having fun on the farm since then, haven't you?
1990.
1990?
Yes,
Okay, 1990. Well, since 1990, this is 2002, have you been playing farmer, rancher, whatever?
Just about it, yes.
Just about it.
Yeah.
Oh, that was real good. But some of the other part of your history that I don't want to forget about, before you came into the teaching thing, and then even after you came into teaching, you were a veteran of World War I and I believe the Korean War, right?
Yes, 2 months after I graduated, I went into the Army.
All right.
And then I got out of the Army in 3 years and went to college
Uh-huh.
and started teaching Spearman.
At Spearman.
And then I was called back to the Army in Korean War. Stayed 3 more years.
Well, they gave you 2 doses of that stuff,
2 doses,
didn't they? Yes, and I believe East Texas State is your alma mater.
Yes, it is.
You went back there twice?
Yes.
Oh, man. You have been a good role model for a lot of kids, Mr. Gene Head, and we're real excited that the Grand Prairie Alumni Association is going to salute you as the outstanding educator. That sounds like a big deal, and it
Well,
really
thank you.
is,
That's
isn't
a
it?
real honor.
Yes, it really
Real
is.
honor.
Well, I want to thank you for this, and if you'll just stay on the set here with us, we got to give Danny Husband a little time to talk about him, haven't we? Oh, I forgot you forgot your family. We're going to have to start over. You've got Virginia, your wife.
What I like most about Grand Prairie High School is that's where I met her.
You met Virginia?
I met Virginia.
Oh, that is so wonderful. And when I was reading about her, that she came to Grand Prairie as a teacher, and she caught your eye, and she sacked you up before anyone knew what was happening, because you were a little bachelor up until then, weren't you?
Having a good time.
Having a good time. All right. And you're going to have to name your beautiful daughter and her husband.
Amanda is my granddaughter.
Is your granddaughter? Okay. Little Amanda, and she goes to Austin Elementary?
And Lisa
And
is my daughter.
Lisa is your daughter, and she's married to Johnny Arnold, right?
That's right.
Okay, and Arnold Brother Cleaners. I'm so glad they
Right.
came to Grand Prairie, because that gave Lisa an opportunity to find her a young man, didn't it? Okay, all right. Now, I apologize for not getting all of that in your story, because I said we would come back to it, and we almost missed the boat, didn't we? Okay. Thank you, Mr. Head, and now let's talk to Danny Husband. Danny, I have a nice bio sheet on you, and if you'd look out into your camera, tell us about the real Danny Husband, your parents' names, and if you have brothers or sisters.
Okay, my parents' names are Jack and Jean Husband, and they're still living. They live in Oklahoma.
Okay.
I have one brother who lives in Arlington, and then I have a
Would you name
sister,
him?
Phil.
Okay.
And then I have a younger sister, also Frida,
All right.
who lives out in California.
In California. Okay. And you were born where?
I was born in Dallas.
In Dallas, Texas?
And I grew up right here in Grand Prairie.
Uh-huh. Where'd you go to school?
Well, I went to Grand Prairie High School, and I ended up graduating from college in North Texas.
All right. Let's get back to your elementary school. Where'd you go to elementary?
I was at Houston Hornet.
You were Houston. All right. Tell me this. Did you have a favorite teacher at Houston?
Oh, probably Mr. Dausch.
Mr. Dowd.
He was a 6th grade coach and teacher.
Yes.
I think at that time he was probably the only male in the elementary school.
And he inspired you some to go on to middle school at least. And where'd you go there?
Well, I went to Lee Middle School,
All right.
and then Adams opened up my 9th grade year.
All right.
So I was able to open up Adams Junior High the first year they were open.
Oh, that's wonderful. Of those 2 schools, who were your favorite teachers and subjects?
Oh my goodness. Well, you always like recess.
Yes,
you know,
and lunch.
and lunch.
Lunch is a good, that's all right.
And I always kind of liked the coaches. I don't know
Yeah.
why. I
Did
guess.
you play athletics in both of those?
Yes, I played basketball in junior high. I played football when in the 7th and 8th grade, but then after that I just played basketball.
And on to Gopherland, who was your favorite teacher and favorite subject there?
Well, I think Coach Amos Turner was kind of my idol back
right.
then. He kind of,
And you were a star in basketball?
well, I don't know if I was a star, but
Yes.
I was fortunate enough to play on some good teams when I was there.
All right. And Grand Prairie High School, did you have any favorite academic subjects other than all this coaching and basketball and things?
I liked math.
You like math?
I really did.
All right.
I enjoyed math.
Who was your greatest mentor in school up until you graduated from high school?
Oh, I'd probably have to go back to Coach Turner.
Coach Turner.
Right.
Okay, that's a good salute to a young man that has passed from this life, but we've named something for him at Grand Prairie High School.
Yeah, certainly have.
Yes.
I was there the night y'all did that.
Yes, that was
wonderful.
nice. Okay, and then on to what college?
I went 2 years at UTA and played
All right.
basketball over there,
All right.
and then after 2 years, they didn't have an education degree over there.
Yes.
And I was wasn't that great a basketball player anyway, so I went ahead and went to North Texas and
Okay.
finished my career up there.
Up there. And then came back, when did you come back to?
Came back in 1971, graduated from North Texas, and
Where'd you go?
went to Jackson Junior High, and
All right.
Mr. Head was the assistant
The
principal,
assistant
or the
principal.
principal at,
Yeah.
at South Grand Prairie at that time.
Yeah.
So, and we were in the same building with South Grand Prairie, and stayed there a couple of years, and then
Were you coaching?
I was coaching everything then.
All right, everything that they had. Okay, and you stayed with Grand Prairie how long before that someone stole you away?
Well, I went to Grand Prairie High for 5 years after that, and then
Yes.
then I went to the Arlington School District after that.
And when you left, and a lot of people cried when you left Grand Prairie to go over to Arlington, and I can see the heads going this way. All right, where did you go in Arlington?
Well, I went to Arlington High for a year, and then after a year, the basketball job at Mansfield High School opened up, and I was fortunate enough to get that job for a couple of years, and then after 2 years, I came back to the Arlington District and opened up a brand new school over at Martin High School.
Martin High School. And did you retire from that school?
I retired from that school. I stayed there 20 years.
When did you retire?
Well, it's last May.
Last May. And you're not like Gene. You're not out doing a farm and a ranch and all of this good stuff. What are you doing with your life?
Well, right now I'm not doing anything, and I try not to start that till noon.
Uh-huh.
So
Just kind of playing around this retirement business.
right now, I'm getting a little restless. And,
We need to get you a schedule book, don't
we
we?
sure do. Sure do.
Get into all of it. Well, we're just honored to have you. Or do you live in Mansfield now?
I live in Mansfield.
You live in Mansfield. Well, we let him get away, President Thorne.
Hope that doesn't happen to the next fine young coach that we have come along.
Isn't that the truth?
We missed
Well,
out on a good one here.
Yes. Well, I want to congratulate both of you gentlemen. I think it's just wonderful, a wonderful salute. And I noticed with a great deal of interest that all of our honorees' last names begin with an H. And so you just weren't even eligible if you weren't a Head or a husband or a Hannah. So I think that's wonderful. And congratulations, Mr. Thorne, for having your committee pick 3 winners this time.
Well, they sure did, and the Alumni Association couldn't be prouder of our association with these fine men. And thank you, Ruthie.
Thank you. And we'll be right back with the rest of our interview of our honorees. As we continue with our wonderful Gopher alumni homecoming honorees, we're just so pleased to have on the set with us again the president of the Alumni Association, Mr. Kim Thorne. Welcome back, Mr. Kim Thorne.
Thank you, Ruthie. Glad to
And
be here.
I know that you're very excited about everything that's coming up for homecoming. That's on, I believe, October the
18th,
18th. Yes.
this coming Friday.
And then right after that, on the 19th, you have a big deal of the day coming up.
We do. On Saturday morning, for the early birds, we have a bowling tournament.
All right.
It's going to be at the Forum Bowling Lanes
Yes.
at 9 o'clock.
Okay.
All interested parties are invited. You don't even have to just be Gophers, although we'll have many Gophers there and
We're going to raise money for scholarships again.
raise money for scholarships.
You're beating us all to death, working us good.
We, unfortunately, it's part of the process to provide help to these students who need the help to get into
Yes.
college is that we have to do the hard work of fundraising.
Yes.
But we found some good venues such as bowling tournament, and
Yes.
it's a lot of fun to visit and get together with our old friends, classmates, and
Have fun.
alumni and have fun.
All
That's
right.
what we're going to do Saturday morning. It's $30 a person to enter the tournament.
Now, one of our honorees, the outstanding alum, is not with us today. Where is Mr. Hannah?
Lonnie Hanna is this year's 2002's outstanding alumni of Grand Prairie High School. And Lonnie's a busy young man. He has
2 or 3 businesses?
Yes, he does. He has businesses not just here locally, but also has a business in Little Rock, Arkansas. A skating ring, ice skating, roller skating combo, and he had an emergency at his business, and as we speak, he's in the car on his way up to Little Rock to take care of an emergency there.
That's first before television interviews, even with an honor like he has received, because it's wonderful to be selected as the outstanding alumni member of Grand Prairie High School for all of the years that we've been going. And would you tell us a little bit about him? You have his bio and his dossier. Let everyone know a little bit about this fine young man.
Lonnie has really an incredible story. Lonnie grew up as a speed roller skating champion. He's a tremendous athlete as a young man, and graduated from Grand Prairie High School in 1982.
Yes.
And a couple of years after graduation, Lonnie was working in a warehouse situation with his sister. Yeah. And there was an accident, and as a result, Lonnie received a back injury which paralyzed him below his waist. He became a paraplegic. Somehow Lonnie turned that incident, that change in his life, into an incredibly positive thing. Shortly after the accident, just determined that he was going to move forward in a positive manner, do what he could with his God-given abilities, and he did that. He went on to the University of Houston, obtained a degree there, became very successful in his business endeavors, and became a champion in paraplegic sports. He became a national champion in wheelchair tennis. Yes. And he snow skis, water skis. He did every kind of sport that anyone without the handicap would do. And then in the late 90s, he became interested in sled hockey, which is an ice hockey on sleds. And became so enthusiastic about it and so involved that eventually worked his way onto the USA national team and won a gold medal, was a member of the gold medal winning team at Salt Lake City in the Paraplegic Olympics in 2002. Yes. And was actually named one of the co-captains of the team. So he's just an inspiration.
Fantastic, isn't he?
Just a true inspiration. In addition to all those athletic endeavors, he has managed to, as I said, be successful in his business with his skatorium in Arlington and now in Salt Lake City. He has a wonderful wife and a daughter, and he has a son, I believe.
Son.
And of whom he's very proud. And so Lonnie is a person that we are so grateful to have the opportunity to be associated with. Yes. And glad to honor him this year as our outstanding alumni.
Now, where does he live now?
Lonnie lives in Mansfield, I believe.
You know, we have two honorees from Mansfield.
Yes, we
now,
do.
Isn't that unusual?
It is.
Yes.
It's kind of like you pointed out, this is an unusual year. We have all of our honorees with H's, Head, Hannah, and Husband.
And Mr. Husband lives in Mansfield, and so does Mr. Hannah. So we aren't particular when it comes to these Gophers that excel. We want to honor them, right?
Well, we have them all over the world.
Yes,
and
we do.
We're proud of all of them. And
I think Lon has them all on the internet that he's keeping up with, isn't he?
Lon York is our newsletter chairperson, and he has maintained, and he's had some help from Owen Fuller, who's our membership chairman, in building up a database of information with the names, addresses, phone numbers, and email addresses, and so forth, of over 8,000 alumni. And all of those people are on a list. We send out newsletters to them twice a year. We have one that's about to come out for our fall newsletter. And so hopefully any alumni out there that see the show and are not getting a newsletter, if they would contact me or someone in the organization, we'll get them on that database and make sure that they're included.
Yes, and especially if they are a member. We like to get all these members
Yes.
because we take that membership money and that's what we plow into these scholarships, right?
And that's true, and we can certainly furnish any interested party a membership form, and our fee is $10 a year to be a member, so it's not much. And of course we have life memberships that we award for a $100 fee, and that waives all the future annual fees. So.
Do you have a nice board that you meet with, and who's going to be president after you?
Well, we're fortunate Angela Gessner
Angela Sutton Gessner.
Angela Sutton Gessner is going to be our next president, and she's will be a wonderful president, of course,
Yes.
and a very talented lady, and so I'll be proud to step aside and then try to help her when she takes over.
We're very lucky in Grand Prairie, Texas, that we have a lot of Gophers that have not only remained in town but have set up their businesses. And your business on Main Street with that beautiful 3-story red brick building, and you're getting all of these new light standards out front, and you're investing in the future of Grand Prairie as well as for your family, and I think that's wonderful. And Angela the same way with her business here in Grand Prairie. We're glad for the Gophers that'll stay and be in business.
Well, Grand Prairie is my home. I love Grand Prairie, and it's very important to me to be here. I want to thank you and the rest of the members of the City Council for the fantastic light standards that are being placed down Main Street right in front of our office now as we speak, and we're very proud of that.
And do you have a chairman of that selected these honorees? Or do you have a committee?
We have a committee, and Angela...
You have only 1 minute.
Angela headed up the committee and made these selections. Of course, there's so many possibilities, so many outstanding people. But the 3, Lonnie Hanna and Jean Head and Danny Husband, just seem so appropriate. They're
really perfect, wasn't it?
Perfect for this year's honorees.
Well, we really want to thank you, Mr. Kim Thorne, for being the president, for sitting in for Mr. Hanna, since he is on his way to Arkansas, and I want to thank you for everything you do to raise money for scholarships for Gophers, and I appreciate it very much, and you've helped me in this wonderful history tape, and thank you so much for being here.
It's been my privilege. Thank you.
And this is Ruthie Jackson reminding you that history is as we live and do.